Dr. Howard Thurman, one of the mentors of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Albert Schweitzer and Mahatma Gandhi, he was a very brilliant writer. He wrote some things that really grabbed me. He wrote, "Deep is the hunger, the voice of the genuine, the centering moment." During the time after receiving 238 radiation seed implants, I was reflecting on his words, and these words kept me up that night. He said, "The ideal situation for a man or woman to die is to have family members praying with them as they cross over." He said, "But imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the ghost of the dreams, the ideas, the abilities, the talents given to you by life, and that you, for whatever reason, you never went after that dream. You never acted on those ideas. You never used those talents. You never used those gifts. And there they are standing around your bed looking at you with large angry eyes saying, 'We came to you, and only you could have given us life. And now we must die with you forever.' And the question is, if you died today, what dreams, what ideas, what talents, what books, what music, what leadership, what voice will die with you?" Miles Monroe, great orator and speaker, said the wealthiest place on the planet, it's not in the Far East where there's oil in the ground. It's not in South Africa where there are diamond mines. He said the wealthiest place on the planet is the cemetery, because there you'll find greatness that we've never seen. There you'll find talent and genius and potential never actualized. Perhaps that's why Henry David Thoreau wrote the words, "Oh God, to reach the point of death, only to realize that you've never lived." Maybe that's why some unknown writer wrote the words, "What if you live your whole life only to discover that it was wrong, that it was wrong, that you were chosen to do something else and you didn't do it?" I want you to think about your goals and dreams in the three categories that I mentioned: personal, professional, and your social contribution. See, ladies and gentlemen, I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. It's my 21st year. I could have been speaking and training for 34 years. But for 14 years, I was living in my head. For 14 years, I stopped myself. For 14 years, I used to go see Zig Ziglar, that I considered the #1 motivational speaker on the planet. Zig Ziglar and Tony Robbins, they're the best on the planet. Bob Proctor, they're the best on the planet. Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen, T. Harv Eker. I would go and see them, and then I would leave, and my conversation with myself was, my heart would say, I can do that. And then my mind would ask, how? How would you do that, Les Brown? See, when I was in the 5th grade, I was identified as EMR, labeled educable mentally retarded. Put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade. I failed again when I was in the 8th grade. I have no college training. And a man changed my life, and I'll never forget his name, Mr. Leroy Washington. He's in his 80s now, and he's blind from glaucoma, but he gave me a different vision of myself. I was in his class waiting on another student. He came in and said, "Young man, go to the board and work this problem out for me." I said, "Oh, sir, I can't do that." I said, "Why not?" I said, I'm not one of your students." He said, "Look at me." "Yes, sir. Go to the board and work the problem out anyhow." I said, "Sir, I can't do that." He said, "Why?" I said, "Sir, because I'm educable mentally retarded, sir. I'm in special education." And the students started laughing. They said, "That's Leslie. That's not Wesley. He's DT. Wesley is the smart twin." He said, "What does DT stand for?" I said, I'm the dumb twin, sir." And as the students laughed at me, he came from behind his desk, he looked at me and he said, "Don't you ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality." On one hand, I was humiliated, but on the other hand, I was liberated, because he looked at me with the eyes of Goethe, who said, "Look at a man the way that he is, he only becomes worse. But look at him as if he were what he could be, then he becomes what he should be." And so we developed a relationship. And one of the things that I can just tell you as you think about your goals and dreams, all of us can say in a spirit of integrity that it's possible. That if anybody at any point in time lived their dream, then it's possible that I can live mine. And what I did was, I made a mistake. I looked at my goals and dreams, and my mind said, "How will you do that?" I went from my heart to my mind, and I stayed up there for 14 years. 14 years. I can't bring those 14 years back. Those years are gone. And I've made a mission in my life to help people to stop putting it off and procrastinating. How many ever thought about something you wanted to do and you procrastinated, you talked yourself out of it? There's a proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. And so, as you look at your goals and dreams, every day we must convince ourselves, we must sell ourselves on that it's possible. Every seminar, every workshop, every book that I've ever read, every speaker that I've ever heard, it interrupted what I was believing about myself. Everything that you do, everything matters. As you go through each day, I know now as I look back at age 63, looking at my life, everything matters. T. Harv is right. How you do anything is how you do everything. And I realized that the choices I was making was based upon how I saw myself. It's necessary, as you look at your goals and your dreams, it's necessary that you have a strategy and a game plan to change the story that you believe about yourself. And that's an ongoing process. I've discovered, and many people have, that what we do, what we accomplish, what we produce is a result of the story we believe about ourselves. My favorite book says, be ye not conformed to this world, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so as I began to work on myself, I realized that I'm getting out of one story and stepping into another story. As I become aware of some things, there's still some things I'm not aware of. So I'm still growing, I'm still developing. I'm like the lady who said, Lord, I ain't what I want to be, ain't what I'm going to be, but thank God I sure ain't what I was. But I realize that you have to work on yourself on a regular basis for mental mindset and stamina, because things are going to happen to you. I believe that the reason that most people go to their graves with their talents and abilities and skills in them is because of the fact, number one, many are like me. They didn't know that they didn't know and thought they knew. I thought I knew myself, and I really didn't know myself as well as I thought. I've discovered that sometimes people can take you to a place within yourself that you can't go by yourself. The other reason is I was afraid. I never worked for a major corporation. I wanted to speak for corporations. I was afraid I would be exposed because I don't have a college education. I felt inferior because of the fact that I don't have a college education. I allowed that level of fear of failure to stop me. And because I never had any experience in it, I assumed that I could not do it. I was paralyzing myself by believing and assuming the limited part of myself as opposed to believing that I had something special. You have something special. There's something you want to do. Because you don't know how to do it doesn't mean that you can't learn. I like something that I heard. You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. See, the people that will live their dreams, the 2% that will do that, become a risk taker. They're risk takers. They don't mind failing. They don't mind making mistakes. They're willing to take life on, take life in the collar. Viscott said, if you're not willing to risk, you cannot grow. And if you cannot grow, you cannot become your best. And if you cannot become your best, you can't be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there? I like what Helen Keller said. She said, life is short and unpredictable. Eat the dessert first. One of the things about life, you're going to get hurt. You're going to make some mistakes. You're going to fail your way to success. But you got to be willing to experiment. You got to be willing to push yourself. You got to be willing to challenge yourself by putting yourself in a perpetual state of discomfort. And so, but things happen in life. When you have goals and dreams, things happen. I had no idea. Midway of my third term, my mother became ill. She was diagnosed with breast cancer. And my brothers and sisters called me and said they're going to put her in a nursing home. And I said, no. They said, we thought you would say that. We've interviewed the best nursing homes in Dade County. I said no. So I had a problem. How can one woman raise 7 children who couldn't take care of themselves, but 7 grown people couldn't take care of one woman? I had a problem with that. And I said no. So I resigned from the Ohio legislature and I came back to Miami to take care of Mama and took care of her until 89. And there are things, as you have your goals, things are going to happen to you that you can't anticipate. Some of you are in the eye of the storm now. Things are going to happen. And don't say, well, why does this have to happen to me? There's times in your life when things are going to happen that you've got to begin to put your dream on hold. And you might have to reinvent yourself. It's called life. And don't tell everybody about it. 80% don't care and 20% glad as you. You have to suck it up and handle it. That's what they call being in business, being an entrepreneur, being a risk taker, walking by faith and not by sight.
What keeps you in the game? If you know someone has done it, you know that you can do it. And that feeling alone, when you want to give up, when it doesn't look like things are going to work out, that thought alone that it's possible because someone has done it, that means that in some way, somehow, I might be able to do it. And that will keep you strong. That will keep you challenging yourself to become more creative and resourceful and skillful. Next thing is that once you know and determine what your dream is, what your goal is, where you want to go, what you want to do, what you want to experience, that it's not enough to look at what your options are. Next thing you know is that as you have this dream, that it becomes necessary that you live this dream. See, they talk a lot about people dying from their diet, about what they're eating. But I strongly believe, and I said it once and I'll say it again, that more people are dying because of what's eating them. See, when you know what you're supposed to do, or if you know you can do more than what you're now doing, and you're not doing it, life will eat you up. It will wear you out. You will live to regret it. When you are acting on your dream, or if you're seeking and relentlessly trying to find your purpose, what fits for you, it means a level of mental healthiness. It means a level of peace. Life now takes on an adventure. Life now has some new meaning. But if you decide to settle to be less than what you are, to enjoy less than what you know you are capable of producing, if you decide to continue to live within your comfort zone and just say, oh, it doesn't matter. No, your dream does matter. People with dreams live longer than people without dreams. People who have something to look forward to, they don't need an alarm clock to get up in the morning. You got a different kind of energy about you. You're talking about not only extending your life, but adding life to your years when you know what you're supposed to do. So now your dream is not optional. No, it's necessary. Not only it's possible, but it's necessary that I do something about this. Because if I don't, it's going to eat me alive. It's going to drive me crazy. No, I've got to do this. Wherever he is, he starts doodling something. Have a friend who she writes. She's always writing something. Why? She's got to do this. She's got to express what's in her. You got to find your thing, and whatever it is, it's necessary that you do it. Now, here's what we know. And as you know that it's possible, then it's necessary that you act on this dream, it takes you to the next level. People are going to help you along the way. You're going to get some help. Also, you can get some opposition. You're going to have some challenges. That's not just going to just open up easily for you to walk in and get what you want. Otherwise, everybody else would be doing that. And so how do you make this dream come true? What's going to be the determining factor? Here's what you know. The determining factor is you. That you're going to make it happen. You are the difference. Nobody can do your work for you. Nobody's going to take care of business for you. Nobody's going to live your dream for you. Nobody's going to sing your song, operate your business, do this great work that you have been selected by the universe to do. Nobody's going to do that for you. That's some stuff that you have been given to do, and if you don't do it, it won't get done. Very good friend of mine who died recently, who wanted to speak, who was a great writer. One of the most painful things I went through was at her house with her husband, as we looked at things that she had started writing, and she never completed them. She never completed those poems. She had papers everywhere. Stories. I remember a play she said she was going to write. She never wrote that play because that play will never be written, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever her approach, whatever her ideas, whatever those creative energies are that was going to be in that project, that's gone now. And I'm saying to you that what you got, what you showed up, that if you don't give it, it won't be given. And that if you don't do it, we all suffer. Life is less for all of us. All of us got something. So here's what we know. That if it's going to happen, it's you. You got to take ownership for making this happen. You are the one. It's you if it's going to be. It's you. You are the captain of your ship. You are the power in your life. You are the force behind your achievement. Circumstances, lack of money, lack of support, obstacles, none of those things can stop you. They can make it inconvenient, but ultimately, it's you. You will make the difference. Will I be able just to walk out there and get it? No. That you're going to experience some hard times, some disappointment, rejection. things are going to go wrong. Things that you thought would happen one way won't happen that way. You find out that it's much easier to get into something and it costs you more to get out of it. So here's what we come and develop an appreciation for. Why is it that people don't want to grow? Why is it that they just settle for being less than what they are capable of being? Why is it they shy away from doing their stuff and challenging themselves and taking life on and making it an exciting adventure? Why is it? Because living your dream, it's hard, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you, I don't want that kind of responsibility. No, that's okay. I'll stay back here. No, that's all right. It's hard living your dream. It's hard taking the heat in the kitchen. It's much easier to try and take the low road than to come up, stand up front and take life on and take it in the collar. Most people won't do that. Most people don't have that kind of boldness about them, that kind of gutsy attitude about life. It's hard, yes. Changing your life, breaking habits, rebuilding yourself. It's hard. Starting all over again. That's hard. When you've seen your dreams go up in smoke, when you take a chance, you act on something you just knew was going to work out and it doesn't. It's hard, ladies and gentlemen. There, you know what I'm talking about. You know it in your guts. That life has whipped you real good and kicked dirt in your face. And people have counted you out and said, I told you, fool, not to try that. I told you. Why'd you listen to me? See how you wouldn't listen. Now you don't have nothing. How you like that, Kadumbo? Friends like that, you don't need any enemies. So what if it's hard? If it's hard, make it okay that it's hard. Really doesn't matter what you're going through. Only thing that matters is how you handle it. Only thing that matters is how you deal with it. That's all that matters. Benjamin Weir was held captive in Lebanon for 16 months. He said the first 12 months he was chained to a radiator. He was released and he came to talk about what happened, how he handled it, how he dealt with it. And he said during the time that he was chained, he said every day I would go down each chain. And he said I viewed the chain as my Protestant rosary beads. And he said that as he looked down each link, he said I would identify something that I had to be thankful. In the midst of the torture that he was experiencing and being a captive, he had good reason to be panicked. He had good reason to be miserable. He had good reason to be angry. He had good reason to feel cursed and deserted, to feel hopeless, to give up. He had good reason to do that. To be depressed, he had good reason. Here's a man looking for ways that he can think about the things, the blessings he can count in his life, not focusing on his problems, but looking at the things in his life that he could be thankful for. He said at a press conference, what would you say to your captives today if they were here? What would you say? He said, I would say goodbye. John Gross went on to write, he says, an optimist sees an opportunity in every calamity. A pessimist sees a calamity in every opportunity. But when you make it okay, what can make you make it okay? Your attitude about it. That you decide that this is not going to determine who I am. Charles Swindoll said about attitude, he said, we cannot change our past. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play the one string we have, and that is our attitude. That's all we can play. I am convinced that life is 10% of what happens to me and 90% of how I react to it. And so it is with you. We are in charge of our attitudes. And when you're in charge of your attitude, you say, if it's hard, then do it hard. I won't allow this to stop me. I don't have the option of easy. I don't have the option. And I don't think you do, or any of us do, of going around trying to find a dream. That's a little dream that doesn't require much responsibility or not too stressful or won't be too much of a hassle. No, that's not how you develop your greatness. No. I remember when I got caught up in the common consciousness of what's happening in corporate America and the business world. And I was thinking about reducing my staff. And I'll never forget what Mike Williams said to me. He said, Les, you're talking about shrinking into greatness or expanding into it. You can't shrink into it, but look at our expenses. Expenses only issue because of the fact that you have not generated enough money, so they don't matter. You want to look for ways to cut your costs or look for ways to generate more revenue. With that kind of attitude, we made more money in that year than ever before. First $1 million year. Changed our attitude about what we were doing. Decided to take the challenge on rather than wimp out and say, we're going to downsize. No, right size. Give me a break. How are we going to expand ourselves in the international arena? Being wimps? No, being creative. The kind of courage and tenacity and determination and spirit that has made us a great country. Though it's hard, who cares? Next thing is that we know that we are not gluttons for punishment. Yes, we most certainly would like for things to work out for us. And none of us want to just go through changes unnecessarily. So what will make a person pay that kind of price? What would keep a person in the game? What will make a person take on that kind of responsibility? Face those kind of pressures? What would keep a person strong? I say to you, when you talk to the people that are manifesting their greatness, the people that are moving and expanding and making a difference in life, in business or in their personal lives or on a social level, I'm saying if you ask those people, why do you do it? They will say, it's worth it. That's why I do it. It's worth it. It's worth it to me to pay this kind of price. What is it that makes it worth it in your life? Nietzsche said, if you know the why for living, you can endure almost any how. So what is the why in your life that will make it worth it? And I say, it's your purpose. It's your life's purpose. It's the reason that you're here. It's the reason that you showed up on the planet, that you're in alignment with what you are supposed to do, that you're creating, that you're building, that you're making a difference, you're making impact, because this is who you are. You have got to express this. You've got to do this. You won't have any peace unless you do. And so here's what we know as we look at the dreams that we have. If they're out of reach right now, we know in spite of that, it's possible I can have my dream. We know as we start working on it, that it's not optional, that it's necessary, that I live my dream, that I do my work, that I'm working constantly to express who I am. I'm working constantly, experimenting with life, trying to find out what my stuff is, what I'm supposed to do. And I know that it stops here, that it's on me, that I'm the one that's got to do this. This is how I'm finding my place in the sun. This is my signature on the planet. I know it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard, but it's worth it because it's my life purpose. And once you go through that, it brings you to the next level, that it's done. And once you go through that you go into another level. I was reading something that Henry David Thoreau said. And just to paraphrase it, he says, if you advance confidently in the direction of your dream and endeavor to live the life which you have imagined, you will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. You will put something behind you. You will pass an invisible boundary. New, universal, and more liberal laws will begin to establish themselves around and within you. Now listen to what he said now. He says new, universal law will establish themselves. It means that now these laws are going to be working in your behalf. They have your interest in heart, in and around you, or old laws will be expanded or interpreted in your favor. Now the universe is lining up on your side because of your courage, because of your faith, because of your determination, because of your guts, because of your imagination, because of your relentlessness. The universe is yielding to you. Someone said that the universe stands aside to the man or woman who knows where they're going. It says, in a more liberal sense, you will live with the license of a higher order of being. We've all had some things happen. Some people call it synchronicity. Just out of nowhere, a call came, help came, money came that you didn't expect. Where did that come from? You're operating at a new level of consciousness, a new order of beingness, that you are able to call forth things, that you can speak the word and it happens, it materializes.